Wakanda Forever, y'all. Yo, what's up, world? It's your man, Slim Jim Longfoot, aka the GOAT, King of America. Is this your first time here? Yo, make sure that you follow me, subscribe to the channel, you know what I'm saying? Keep up with me via YouTube, you know what I'm saying? So you can check out all my, joints that I do on here, from my daily vlogs, my TV and movie reviews that you're watching right now, my live streams, my video clips, my, everything that I got going on, product reviews, and that also includes my art video series, GOAT 1408 TV. But that's not why you're here. You're here because you see what the title is. That means you've either already watched the movie or you just don't care about being spoiled. So with that being said, if you want to see my spoiler free review, go check out my daily vlog 983, which premiered on November 11th 11/11. I don't know what day I'm going to drop this yet. It's probably going to be on this weekend, probably on maybe Sunday. Give y'all a couple of days, give that first rush a couple of days to check it out, because today is right now currently November the 11th 2022. I watched Wakanda Forever yesterday on the 10th of November, and so what, 12th is tomorrow, Saturday. So Sunday, yeah, I dropped this on Sunday. Maybe, I don't know. Well, I might drop it today on 11/11. It's a blessed day. It's a blessed time. 11/11 is a blessed number, angel number. You feel me? If you believe in that there. So I'll probably end up dropping it. I'm gonna drop it today, because why not? It's gonna be in the title. So if you get spoiled, you get spoiled. It says spoiler review. So if you watch this video and be like, oh no, why did you spoil the movie? It's in the title. So if you come here watching a video hoping not to get spoiled on a spoiler review video, then what else can I say? Anywho, now that we got that out the way, this, once again, for those that didn't articulate that, this is a spoiler review of Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Now, I'm gonna say it just like this: it was a great movie. It was a great movie. Considering the circumstances, with what couldn't be controlled in real life. Chadwick Boseman, who of course died back in 2020 from cancer. Nobody knew that he was sick, as far as in the industry go. This great guy, this great actor, will forever be missed. I, of course, am a part of the whole recast T'Challa situation, because of the simple fact that Black Panther was around before Chadwick Boseman and will be around after Chadwick Boseman, just as all fictional characters will be, from Spider-Man, Superman, Batman, anything in the comic realm and beyond the comic realm. Luke Skywalker, even though Luke Skywalker has been forever portrayed by Mark Hamill since the introduction of the character 45 years ago in Star Wars, eventually one day someone else will be playing Luke Skywalker. One day someone else will be playing Luke Skywalker, or someone else will be playing Indiana Jones, which Harrison Ford has played for the past 40 years. So eventually somebody, just like James Bond, it's been like 500 James Bonds, you feel me? Not really, but you know what I'm saying. But eventually other people will play these iconic characters. And with that being said, in the realm of the MCU, which has been going on for 14 years now, since the first Iron Man in 2008, it has been a consistent level of intertwining everything together. And with that being said, Wakanda Forever is no exception, due to the fact that they had to change that. Well, they didn't have to, but they chose to, in honor of Chadwick. But at the same time, you could have replaced Chadwick with somebody else who could have been playing the character T'Challa, the Black Panther, because T'Challa, the Black Panther, has been around for almost 60 years in the comic books, has a lot of stories, obviously, to be told. And so, but with what they did with Wakanda Forever, falls into the scheme of how the MCU is, because obviously Tony Stark isn't dead in the comic books, but Tony Stark is dead in the MCU. And there is a chance that Tony Stark could come back, obviously, with the multiverse existing, just as there's a chance that T'Challa could come back with the multiverse existing. So with those things being said, we can easily have those characters come back. I mean, Mark Ruffalo, of course, he wasn't the original Bruce Banner in the MCU. Obviously, that was another actor. So Edward Norton. But with that being said, we going back to Wakanda Forever. It was great. It introduced, of course, one of the first superheroes in Marvel Comics, Namor the Submariner. Now, I can understand why they decided to change up his origin a little bit, considering that Aquaman has now, overtaken the movie world as far as him being from Atlantis, the king of Atlantis, blase blase. And it's kind of like, okay, Namor come out there, because they believe moviegoers are real stupid, what I'm saying? Especially those who do not follow comic books. They believe that moviegoers are real stupid. I'm just going to keep it plain Jane simple with you. They believe moviegoers are very stupid. So instead of them saying, oh, this is our King of Atlantis in Marvel, they decided to go a different route with his origin story, which I enjoyed, which I liked. I liked how they did that. And Namor also, of course, is the very first person in the MCU to say that he is a mutant. So now that has introduced mutants into the MCU. For him, he actually said that he is a mutant. So that introduced mutants into the MCU. Namor is a mutant in the comic books because he is the child of an Atlantean and a human, therefore making him a hybrid, aka a mutant in that sense. He was born with his powers. And so with them changing up Namor's heritage, from being Atlantean to having the South American heritage, which is great. I don't mind that at all, because Atlanteans, what is an Atlantean? We don't know what type of race of people that is anyway, other than to think that they will probably be near the Mediterranean or whatnot. So they switched up as far as where in the ocean they originated at, as far as their backgrounds and culture, previous to them sinking, which they never sunk since they they, like I say, this is spoiler review, so you seen the movie, so what I'm talking about. With them switching up, for his people, his mama's people, was dying. They had got sick, the Spanish flu or whatever the Europeans brought over at that time, and they had to figure out a way to conserve themselves and to get themselves right. And so I enjoyed the visuals. I enjoyed how they took that and how they switched it up as far as Namor's origin and his heritage and just overall. But the dude who played him did a great job. Excuse me for not knowing his name, the actor's name, but the guy who played Namor did a great job. He did a great job on bringing Namor to life. He gave because Namor had a lot of rage, especially when he first appeared again in modern comic books in the Fantastic Four issue number 4, because like I said, Namor was one of the original characters from Marvel. He was created back in 1939, first appearance being Marvel Comics issue number 1 back in the year 1939. So he predates all of the Marvel comic book characters that you know of, that of course came out in the 60s, from Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, Hulk, X-Men, all of those cats. Even predates Captain America. So with that being said, Namor his modern appearance was in the Fantastic Four issue number 4, if I'm not mistaken, when they came across him and saw that he he had forgot who he was because he had been out of water for a long time, and he lost his identity and was wandering around for like about 20-30 years as a vagrant. And then Johnny Storm came across him and found out who he was, and he was like, oh snap, this is Namor the Submariner, you know what I'm saying, he was a superhero back in the day, blah blah blah. And so he threw him in the water, and Namor remembered who he was after being reinvigorated in the water, getting his strength, his memories back. And once he saw how jacked up Atlantis was, or the ocean was, from the pollution and just them polluting the ocean, that made him wage a war with mankind, starting off with the Fantastic Four, who ended up defeating him. And he of course was always smitten with Sue Storm in the comic books. But that's all the comic book lingo. If you want to know more about Namor, as far as the comic book version of Namor the Submariner, go check it out. But as far as what we saw here in the movie, of course, his whole gripe was T'Challa opened the world up to the whole notion that they got vibranium. They sitting on top of vibranium. They got vibranium. Wakanda has vibranium. And with the death of T'Challa, opened up the world to believe that Wakanda was going to be weak, that they didn't have their protector, the Black Panther, who had been protecting Wakanda for centuries, passing the power of the Black Panther down from generation to generation. So let that be remembered also. Even though I would love to see T'Challa recast it, let that be remembered that the Black Panther is a mantle role. Even though T'Challa was the very first character that premiered in the comic books that held the Black Panther mantle, the Black Panther mantle has been passed down for centuries. So it's not like, it was just only one person that was the Black Panther, but T'Challa himself was the main Black Panther in the comic books, in the modern times, you dig? So when it came to T'Challa, T'Challa was the character who married Storm in the comic books. T'Challa was the character who defended Wakanda on every level, since the character was created from 1966 up until now. Obviously, in real life, if these characters were aging like real life, it would have been passed on. It would have been passed on in the 80s or the 90s or whenever. Like Spider-Man and all of them, like you got Miles Morales, who is around now, which, is certain superheroes that shouldn't be passed about. Like, I didn't think that should have been the case with Spider-Man, because it's not like Spider-Man is a mental type of character. Like, Batman will be somewhat of a mental type character, because Bruce Wayne will obviously pass his insanity on down to Robin and anybody else. But case of Rossara. I always feel like this, me especially being a black man who is a comic book fan, a black man who is a comic book creator. If you want a black character or a character of a different ethnic background or whatever, create a new one. Don't just say, oh well, let's make a black Iron Man, let's make a black Batman, let's make a black Superman. No, just make a black character. Just make a whole new black character. I got a whole another video talking about that as far as that go, but that part. But with that being said, Black Panther is a mantle character, and in this world now, in the MCU, them knowing that T'Challa is now dead, that puts everything on high alert from on what is going to be done about Wakanda sitting on top of all this vibranium, which is one of the greatest resources in the MCU. And that is the greatest resource in the MCU. The first time that we seen vibranium in the MCU obviously was Captain America's shield. And so with that being said, that of course introduced, vibranium, like where did vibranium come from? And of course, when you find out that vibranium came from Wakanda, like in Age of Ultron, he had got a whole bunch of vibranium from Claw, and of course Claw stole that vibranium from Wakanda. When Killmonger's dad had an alliance with Claw to get that vibranium out of there, and he was Killmonger's dad, who was T'Challa's uncle, was planning on waging war with the rest of the world, getting weapons out to people in specific places that needed protection to get back and fight back and all that good stuff. And so all of that that happened in the first movie was greatly tied into this right here, because of the fact that T'Challa's illness, whatever it was that he was suffering from, which in a sense I didn't understand why he could be suffering from an illness, because he had the heart-shaped herb inside of him. But then again, maybe something had occurred differently or whatever. But with no more heart-shaped herbs being around due to Killmonger destroying them all in the first Black Panther movie, he couldn't be saved in time, because his sister Shuri was trying to find a way to replicate the heart-shaped herb, even though, as she stated, she wasn't doing it just to save the Black Panther mantle, she was doing it to save her brother's life. And so him dying, and it starting off with his his death and his burial, which was beautiful. It was all beautiful, because remember, in their culture, and as it should be in all cultures, death is a part of life. Death is a part of life. And we should be more, in a sense, as my mom used to say, my mom, who passed actually 10 years and 4 days ago. She died on November 6, 2012. And she used to say, the people who died that you knew, be glad that they passed your way. So what I'm saying, shout outs to my mom, shout outs to so many friends that I've lost this year, from LaShawn Colvin, who was a comic book artist, to my friend Tootie, who passed of cancer back in August, and from my friend Marsha, who died in a car accident back in 2019. So many people who have died along the way, who you think of and who you are remembrance of. Be glad that they passed your way. Yes, it's gonna be sad to think about this, that, and the third. Like my niece, she was shot back in February, but she is still here. She is recovering after getting shot in the head. If you want to know more about that, the link will be in the bio for her GoFundMe, telling her story. Be glad that these people passed your way, and be glad that they passed your way, and to always remember them for the purpose of the love that you have for them. And so obviously Shuri, who is more scientifically driven, she wasn't stuck in the traditions and the customs of Wakanda, as far as this, that, and the third. She was more about science and technology. And so she couldn't think of her big brother in that sense of just being glad that he passed her way. She was vengeful, she was mad, she was furious, and she had every right to be, because in those years she had lost her dad to violence, she had lost her brother to this illness, and now she was at this point of just wanting to burn the world, which is very reminiscent of her cousin Killmonger, who, once again, this is a spoiler review, so his appearance, of course, when she eventually cracked the code and was able to drink the heart-shaped herb, and this was after her mom was killed by Namor. Angela Bassett, of course, did a great job in the movie as Queen Ramonda. She did a great job from the moment we first seen her, after saying, telling Shuri that T'Challa was dead, on to her at the UN, letting them know, hey, we ain't no pushovers. Just cause Black Panther ain't here, don't think you gonna just come up in here and handle us. Nah, we Wakanda. We are all Wakandans, and you know, even though we ain't got the Black Panther, don't try, don't step to us, don't try us if you want to. You feel me? So she did so great in that movie. She did excellent in that movie, and you know, when Shuri saw Killmonger in her vision, you know, Michael B. Jordan, it was freaking amazing to see him back, you know, as Killmonger, even for that, you know, small moment, which of course was perfect because, you know, at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, once again, you know, the spirits, they live on, you know, the spirits live on, and you know, that was the spirit that connected with her the most because, you know, Michael B. Jordan, he said, hey, you know what I'm saying, Killmonger, he was like, hey, you and me, we ain't too far from each other. You know, you already said you wanted to watch the world burn. So what you want to do? You gonna be peaceful like your brother, or you gonna get stuff done? You ready to go do some ish? Let's go do it, because I know you ain't about to let Namor slide. Let's go get him. You know what I'm saying? And with all that being said, that was she was well in her right to go at Namor any way possible, because Namor was not given any cut. Now, as you already know, because it's a spoiler review, Namor, of course, came on the scene because T'Challa had, in my opinion, stupidly, you know, said, "Hey, you know, we got vibranium here. Y'all want some too?" It's like, nah, bro, that's you know, that is not what you need to be offering to the rest of the world. As you can see from Julia Louis-Dreyfus character, who has been in the MCU, you know, spider webbing through the MCU over the past few movies. You know what I'm saying, from her appearance at the end of Black Widow and on into Hawkeye and whatnot. So it's like she has been spider webbing her way into, you know, getting things such as and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, she was in there too, excuse me. She has been weaving her way, or I think she was just in, I don't remember, she was in Hawkeye or not. Well, I think she was in Hawkeye, I can't remember, it's been a while since I've seen it, but you know, she was responsible for Black Widow coming his way. Well, Black Widow's sister, who of course is basically the new Black Widow now, but she has been weaving her way into, you know, trying to get, you know, her hands on vibranium or any resources that will make, you know, the US the most feared power in the world or whatnot. And so with that being said, you know, they used the technology that got Riri Williams, who is a college student, 19-year-old college student, a prodigy basically, who is basically on Tony Stark's level, as far as when it comes to mechanics and whatnot. She has been using the technology that Riri Williams created, you know, for a project in college to detect vibranium, and to be able to detect vibranium is amazing in itself. You know what I'm saying? Because vibranium is not like any metal on Earth. It's actually not from Earth in a sense, because it, you know, came down, you know, the Earth via a meteorite, and you know, the majority of it hit Wakanda, and that's where the most of it is, you know, of course, in the world as far as on land go. But sea, however, there is some, of course, in the sea, which of course is Namor's realm. And with that being said, you know, Namor and his people have been, of course, using vibranium for centuries, because Namor himself was born in the 1500s. He was born in the 16th century. So he is not only, you know what I'm saying, a mutant with powers, but he also has longevity as well. So Namor has been around for centuries. And so with that being said, you have these people who live in the ocean who basically have claim on that vibranium in the ocean, which means you can't go touch their stuff. You dig? You can't go touch their stuff. But I'm not going to hold y'all too long because this video is almost 30 minutes. I didn't think this video was going to be that long, but hey, I'm here. So I hope, you know, if you are watching this in the live chat premiere, I appreciate you watching this in the live chat premiere. I might not premiere this today because I want to give this a little time to breathe, so I might end up premiering this on Sunday, so that way it'll be enough people who have seen the movie that want to, you know, put down comments below, or, you know, whatnot, you know, holler at your boy, you know what I'm saying, in the comments, so we can talk more about, you know, the things that happen in the movie. The action was great, you know, because I remember people was talking about the, you know, the CGI in the first Black Panther, which was good, but at some points it was a little shaky, you know, especially that last fight between Black Panther and Killmonger. You know, it was like a CGI fest. But at the same time, I mean, I'm not up here watching, you know, every little nook, like, oh man, you can tell right there in frame 119. Like, I ain't doing all that. I'm watching movies to watch movies for, you know, what they are. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could go all that deep, but, you know, it's just an experience. It's to get away from all this stupidity in the real world. You feel me? That's what it's all about, to get away from this stupidity in the real world. You know, I mean, the fact that I live in a state where you got a whole Bubba Gump running for senator, you know. Anyway, I ain't about to do it here. So back to this movie. Once again, the movie was great. Namor's portrayal was great. Riri Williams, who of course appears in the MCU for the first time. This character, of course, eventually becomes known as the superhero Ironheart. It's cool seeing her character be introduced. The young lady who played her looks great. Lupita, who came back, of course, as Nakia, she was phenomenal in the movie. Looked phenomenal as crap. She's a beautiful woman, Lupita is. Letitia Wright, aka Shuri, did her amazing job up in here as well. You know what I'm saying? She did a great job. Everybody, Namor supporters, like his top two generals or lieutenants, you know, Namor and the other dude, they did a great job too. They was very intimidating and fearsome. You know what I'm saying? Oh, my girl, of course, Danny. You know what I'm saying? Deny, you know, of course, who was Michonne on The Walking Dead. I can't remember her name in the movie. You know, she played, you know, the head of the Dora Milaje. You know, she did a great job, of course, again in the movie. And, you know, I loved that scene with her and the Queen Ramonda when, you know, Shuri was kidnapped by Namor. And yeah, it was such a powerful scene. It was such a powerful scene because you felt that rage, you felt that tension, you felt that sadness and despair in it all, because it, you know, and the Queen was completely right, because it's like, you know, you have served Wakanda faithfully, but at the same time, you know, you was too deep into Wakanda, because here it was, Killmonger became the ruler, and me and my family was running for our lives after he almost killed T'Challa. Well, we thought he killed T'Challa, and we was running for our lives so he wouldn't kill us. But you sat there and y'all was part of all this, watching all this go down. You know what I'm saying? You watching all this go down while we was running for our lives at the moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, there's only so much I can. And then here it is, you know, let my daughter get kidnapped. She's all I got left. You don't know if she dead or alive, you know, whatnot. Hey, you know, the Queen was furious at that point, and she had every reason to be. And Angela Bassett, of course, as we know, in the movie, Queen Ramonda did die, and that was indeed a shocker to me, because I didn't think that Queen Ramonda was going to end up dying, but the way it was starting to go, as far as like with name, it was going to have to be a big casualty as far as that go, and Namor did just that. And to sum this all up, to go to the end where we see that yes, my boy T'Challa did at least, you know what I'm saying, link up with Nakia. He linked up with Nakia. He didn't freeze, baby. He didn't freeze. He got up in there, baby. He got up in there, and now we have a new T'Challa, courtesy of King T'Challa and Nakia. He has an heir, Prince T'Challa, who will most likely one day be the new Black Panther in the MCU, which I'm cool with that. I mean, that in a sense is as good as you can get as recasting T'Challa. So even though it's going to be definitely a while until we have that T'Challa as the Black Panther, the fact that they did that, you know, that was a good way to ensure that the character does exist, even though this won't be the T'Challa in the comic books that we know of. But at the same time, this is still a T'Challa, and he is eventually going to grow, and therefore he will be, no doubt, will be the next Black Panther. So right now Shuri is the Black Panther, well, no doubt that boy whose name is T'Challa will be the next Black Panther. So yes, I am still in favor of recasting T'Challa, but with that being said, that is a T'Challa right there. And most definitely he will be the next Black Panther. He will be the next Black Panther. He will be the new Black Panther after Shuri's time, you know, which, you know, he may be the Black Panther even sooner, who knows, you know, because Shuri, of course, she is Black Panther right now currently. And but Obatu, he is going for the throne. He's going for the throne. So Shuri's not trying to take on the throne, and most likely he's going to try to take on the throne. And he may make a great king, because he's done great as being counsel for Princess Shuri. So he may end up being the new king of Wakanda, while Shuri is the Black Panther. She will probably remain being the princess and the Black Panther. But at the same time, you got the heir right there, Prince T'Challa, who will one day not only be the new Black Panther, but will be the new king of Wakanda as well, because he's definitely going to want to have, you know, go for his crown, go for his birthright, you know. So with that being said, great movie. And I'm about to go ahead and stop that right there, because this is already over 30 minutes. I don't know if I'm gonna edit this or cut it up, or I'm probably not. I'm just gonna keep it raw like this, baby. We're gonna keep it raw, baby. Anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed this spoiler review. Anything that I missed, anything that you know, you want to talk about as far as special effects, this, that, and the third, you know, feel free to say it in the comments or in the live chat. However we, you know, been talking about it. I would like to have done this a live spoiler review, but I ain't really got the time to do that. Plus, you know, I want to get this out of my head right now on today. Today is, of course, November 11th, 2022, and I wanted to go ahead and get all this out of my head, because it was a great movie and I enjoyed it, and I hope you did too. And if you didn't, I don't know what else to tell you. Stay blessed up, y'all.
Slim Jim Longfoot, Slim Jim Longfoot.